It is proper loud, that music in your ear, isn't it?
You know, we've a couple of times we've been doing this now, and it gets louder each time, I think. So we'll have to have a word with the behind the scenes people at EPL.
Yeah, we are going to have a chat about that. But before we kick off today's episode, mate, we have got a brand new partner to tell everybody about. And honestly, mate, it's something that feels very on brand, especially for me, but also for us.
Well, if you love football, which I know you do, you know the feeling. You don't just watch the game, you live it.
And from the gym to the bar to the street, football isn't a hobby, it's an identity.
That's right. That's why EPL Across the Pond, we've teamed up with Numazane, a custom T-shirt company made for football fans who want to wear the game their way.
And as their motto says, it's not official, it's just undeniable.
These aren't replica kits. These are tees that spark the conversation and connection.
And it's about wearing the game wherever you go.
And belonging without permission. Welcome, Gary.
Which I will say every time that you've done a million times.
Exactly.
I love it.
Well, you know, who's watching? He's watching.
I know.
Straight away. Good evening. Good evening, Gary.
How you doing, mate?
I'm
back in the meter after last night's
50p's back in the meter, so I've missed it. It's tragically, we're back on. Lecky's back on. Everything seems good to go today. Welcome everybody. Welcome to Thursday night's live show, EPL Across the Pond, our Thursday preview show. We're week 35. Week 35 of the Premier League season. It's almost over. We've only got a couple of weeks left. So tune in, guys. Join along with us if you haven't done so far. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Get on board. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook. Chat away, comment, tag, whatever you need to do to say hello to us. If you have an opinion, you're watching the show tonight, leave it in the comments. Put it in the comments. Let's have a chat. We got lots of stuff to get through tonight. Gary and I were going over the notes before the show, the things we're going to talk about. Mate, it's chocker. We might be a bit of extra time tonight. So if you've got to go to school or work tomorrow, you might be a bit tired because we've got a lot to get through.
And in fairness, it's Thursday as well, so you can get away with it. If you have a little bit of a later one on a Thursday, it's usually you can go into work on a Friday a little bit foggy, and no one's going to be that bothered, are they? To be honest.
Liquid lunch. That was
mate. I'd just say it's sometimes if you go in a bit foggy on a Friday, if you can just get yourself to lunchtime on a Friday, you're pretty much in the clear then, aren't you?
Yeah, it's been a long week, Gaffer. It's been a long week. I'm a little bit tired. Stayed up late last night to watch EPL Across the Pond, especially if you're in the UK and you're staying up to watch us. You know, it's already Friday.
Exactly, I know. My missus is in the Philippines at the moment, mate. It's probably like Friday afternoon at this point. It's unbelievable. Yeah. But we are going to talk about time because time's an interesting theme through the show today. But we have got a big thing about ranting about time. But before we get to that, we're back on this again.
We're going straight from it. This week's a belter. But what's interesting about this week's Gary and Chris's proper Dead Hard Thursday trivia question? What's difficult or different about this week? It's not just a 1 week thing, is it, Gary? We're going to do a few little stages for this question.
We're like onions at this point. We're like ogres, and Gary and Chris have pretty lined up here. We've got layers. This question's layered. So there's 20 possible answers for this whole question. We're going to try and do five until the end of the season, and then you'll get all the answers. It is actually quite a good one as well. Again, gettable. Very gettable if you just think about it. All right. The question is, you have to name the highest scoring EPL goal scorers for every age bracket. So I'm going to try and explain this as properly as I can so people understand. So we are looking for the highest scoring 17-year-old, the highest scoring 18-year-old, 19, 20, and 21. So whichever player at that age bracket scored the most goals.
Five players.
So, for example, I'll give you the example. This week, we are looking for age 17. So there's a 17-year-old in the
Gary's looking for a 17-year-old, everybody. Gary's looking for a 17-year-old.
Nope. I have not been on that island.
That's the thing, isn't it? You see that? That's coming up for the World Cup rules.
Oh, you can't do this, can you?
You can't do that, yeah.
Especially
so
when you go to...
I'm off.
Yeah, straight red.
Red card. So, see you later.
And you know what? That's been the excuse. Oh, he has actually come back. That was going to be my excuse to get rid of him. But yeah, you're looking for the 17-year-old who's got 6 goals. You're looking for an 18-year-old who holds the record with 18 goals. You're looking for a 19-year-old with 18 goals, 20-year-old with 25, and a 21-year-old with 25. Now, I reckon off the top of my head, I've got 2 of these straight.
Okay. So here's the thing. We're looking for these 5 this week. Next week, it's going to be the next 5, 22, 23, blah, 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 blah. So here's a little thing. Can we do this as well, Gary? So we'll post this onto our Instagram after this is finished. That's where we want people to have a little go at it and stuff. If you want to earn an extra bonus point, name the teams they played for.
That would be proper dead hard, if you ask me.
That's why that's why we're here, Gary. That's why we're here. We're proper dead hard.
No, it's true.
Now we've started. Now we have
started. So yeah, name the highest scoring EPL goal scorers in every age bracket. They are the age brackets that you are looking for this week, and we give you the goals as a little bit of a gift, little bit of a tease. Yeah, but you can go for that. So again, reach out to us in our DMs. Do you want to expand on our giveaway?
Yes. Thank you for reminding me of that. So we're doing a competition. May 13th is my birthday. And we're going to run it until May 13th. And then we're going to announce it on May 13th because that's my birthday. It's a Chris giveaway shirt. We are giving away a World Cup shirt of your choice. This is a USA one, but it can be any team you want for the World Cup. So a World Cup Christmas big jersey giveaway.
It's not a small jersey. It could be a small jersey if you want it.
What's this? This is a medium. So if you want a small, medium, large, any team for the World Cup, we're giving away a World Cup jersey. Here's the rules. We have rules. We have to have rules, Gary, because otherwise we're just giving away free stuff. We're not that level yet. So if you want to sponsor us to give away free shirts, happy to do so. Here's how we play it. We're trying to get more people to follow us or subscribe to our YouTube channel. So if you've not done so already, go to YouTube, find EPL Across the Pond. You'll find it in the link or the bio. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's free. I don't know why you wouldn't. Send a screenshot and drop it down our DMs, and we'll add you into the competition. Which most of you already done so far, if you've already subscribed, just go to the YouTube channel and send us a screenshot, drop it in the DMs. We'll add you into that competition. It's a free shirt. It's Chris's big jersey giveaway. I like that. We're trying
to keep things simple here, mate, as well.
We are. We're not two simple people.
Yeah, exactly. There's not much going on upstairs for me. But like, if you're watching the telly, if you're watching YouTube on the telly now, and you've got us on your big telly at home, take a picture of it, screenshot us, tag us, put it into we'll repost it, and then again, that gets you into the raffle as well. But it is Chris's big jersey giveaway. It's not that big of a jersey. It's the jersey size that you want. All right. But I just like you are.
And you know what? Doesn't matter what size you are, we'll get that jersey for you and we'll ship it to you as well. So May 13th, we're going to close the competition, announce the winner on my birthday, and then we'll go from there. And good luck. Good luck, everybody. We've got a lot to get through tonight, Gary. We've got a lot to talk about tonight.
We've got to keep cracking. All right, then. Yeah. So last weekend, we'll quickly skip through last weekend. What games did you watch?
Well, I started on the Friday night by being very worried and nervous about Forest versus Sunderland. I thought this is going to go one or two ways, and just blown away by 6 minutes of madness at the Stadium of Light. And yeah, exactly. Woody's back on the score sheet. It was just a game that was just like, wow. But I won't get too biased. The crazy thing about that game, just to talk about the game and everything, the final score was 5-0 to Forest. But if you look at the stats and you watch the game, Forest scored 5 out of 6 chances. And I think Sunderland, I'm just trying to pull it up quickly now. I think Sunderland had like 14 chances. They had the majority of the possession. They had most of the ball first and second half. But it's a funny old game. That's why it's May 13th. May 13th is my birthday. If you'd like to send anything to the show, if you'd like to donate anything, love gifts. We love gifts at the show. Gary loves freebies. Who doesn't love a free lunch and everything? So May 13th, I'm sure we're looking for the competition again, May 13th. But yeah, I started with Forest on the Friday night, and that just changed my mood for the weekend, if I'm honest, Gary. It just put me in a nice relaxed tone when I watched, same as you, Saturday's madness.
and it was mad. So I was on a course last weekend, and it's an online thing, and and you've got to have your camera on, and you've got to be present, and all the rest of it. And I've got the telly right here, and I had the games on, and it just again Liverpool seemed like it was going to be a canter. Then Palace get a goal back, and Kev's on as well. If the goalie goes down, give the ball back. Don't chip the keeper when the ball goes down. Freddie Rubman, fair play to him, played well, and then he went down injured, and then I can't remember who it was for Palace, just chipped in, it went in. But it was nice for Liverpool to get the win, so I was all right with that one. But then all of a sudden, you turn your attention to the bottom half of the table, and I've got the 2 shirts up today as well, because it was mad. Like, if you look at it, I had it written down, West Ham go 1-0 up on 51 minutes, Souček scores, and you're like, right, okay, it's done. Spurs they're not going to get this goal at Wolves. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You think to yourself, West Ham are sorted. Then, 82nd minute, Palhinha scores for Spurs. Now it's 1-0 in both games, so nothing really changes. It's still going to be 2 points. Then, 88th minute, Everton equalise. Dewsbury Hall scores. And now you're like, oh boy, this might actually happen. The Hugger Hotspur campaign will be cancelled. It's going to turn it into Hugger Hammer. And then in the 92nd minute, Callum Wilson pops up with his customary annual goal for West Ham.
Key goal. He always scores key goals. So I watched the West Ham.
In it now. It says as you were.
I watched the West Ham game, and to be honest, West Ham were awful. They were really, really bad. It seemed like a game that Everton didn't feel like they had anything to play for. I know they're still pushing for European places and stuff, but it was such a one-sided game, and West Ham scored against the run of play, went to go 1-0 up and everything. And I thought, there's no way Everton are going to lose this game. And then when they equalised, it was all Everton for a period of a couple of minutes, and it was like they nearly got a second, had a couple of corners, and then bang, against the end of run of play, yeah, Callum Wilson scores up for his annual, I'm an England international player, here's my goal to prove it kind of thing. Just a mad couple of minutes. And that, that's the exciting point of this part of the season, because it's very rare you get 2 games happening at the same time anymore, right? Where you're going from one game to the other, to the other, to the other. Normally with the Premier League and Sky now, you've got games stacked. So you go from one game to the next game afterwards. Yeah. But when the 2 games live at the same time like that, which both in relegation scraps, it just made that a little bit exciting.
It was one that you constantly find yourself. You go between, if you can get the game on, you're going through that and then onto your phone. It was a lot. It was a lot. But the thing is as well, we'll get to this now, right? We may as well talk about the relegation. We have got the aptly titled Prem News Alert, because that's what it is. It's like Chris's big jersey giveaway. Do you want to build up for this? Sorry. Is there a build up for this?
No, just go for it. We're just looking at the Premier League news. Something I started when you took a sabbatical last week when you were at School Disco, but something I brought on with Bob, who was a great guest. What do you think of Bob coming on the show last week?
I thought he did a good job. I'd love to hear in the comments. Right. I will do this for you, though. I will do this for you.
Go on.
All right, there you go.
Premier News Alert. Premier News Alert. Premier News Alert.
But my thing is with the Spurs, and we'll talk about it, because we've got this little diagram, haven't we, of what's left in the season. But it's the same thing again, and they're running out of games. Teams are, it's back to what it was, isn't it? West Ham are still 2 points clear of Spurs, and then you look at the games that are on here. There's a big one tomorrow. Lancashire against Yorkshire tomorrow. Leeds. Listen, I know Bob will complain about this and say Leeds need 43 points. I think Leeds are safe.
If you can't beat Burnley at home, who are already relegated, they've just fired the manager. You know what I mean? I thought that about Forest when they played Burnley the other week, and they battered Burnley. But it's one of those games. If you can't beat a relegated team at home, you don't deserve to stay in the league.
And also the fact that they just need a point. They get a point and they're done. It doesn't matter. But I think Leeds
Spurs aren't getting 12 points. I'll say it now, and I could go against me, Gary, but Tottenham are not getting 12 points. They're not.
No. I still think Spurs, like they won last week, I still think Spurs get 7. I still think Spurs get to 30. I think 38 points is enough on goal and with goal difference. So you look at West Ham.
I'm hoping 39's enough, but we'll see.
I think 38. I said 38, didn't I? I think that'll be enough. Because here's the thing, right? Spurs have won one game in however many months. How can you expect them to win 4 games on the spin?
You can't. You really can't. And if you look at the teams they're coming up against, look at it like this, right? Villa, they're pretty much guaranteed top 5, right? Whether they finish 5th, 4th, or 3rd, they're pretty much top 5 now. Leeds, that could be the game that pretty much guarantees Leeds safety. Chelsea are hit and miss. What have they got left to play for? And then Everton, last game of the season, they'll probably have nothing to play for. So I think if you look at the run-ins, Spurs have probably got the easiest run-in out of this lot.
Yeah, I mean, after today's game as well, you've got to think Villa have got one eye on that second leg next week.
100%.
But Spurs' squad is absolutely decimated. And I know it's not a massive excuse, but it is an excuse. Like, they lose 2 more players last weekend. They've had more knee injuries this season than who knows what. Like, yes, these games are winnable on paper, but then you look at the Spurs squad and how they're looking. Can they get them? Like, I think, listen, I think they can get something off Villa. I think they could beat Leeds. They could also beat Everton, and they could also get a mad result at Chelsea. Like, I'm still on the camp as much as I love West Ham, and I've got friends who are West Ham fans. My missus is a Spurs fan, so I've got to hold that candle as well. So in my opinion, the only team I really want to go down is Forest, but that doesn't work out for both of us, does it? So
no, I don't see West Ham beating Spurs or Newcastle. And is it going to come down to the last game of the season where they've got to beat Leeds to stay in the division? Brentford away is going to be a tough one this weekend. So I think maybe after this weekend, we might see a bit of a gap between some of these teams emerging. So we're really, like you said earlier, we're running out of games now.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like Tottenham, there's an urgency now. Like these
it's
teams
now or
have
never.
to win. Yeah, you
it's
have
now
to
or
win.
never.
Leeds win, they're done. Leeds win, they're out. Like, but if you don't get, if you get a point at Chelsea and the other 2 teams somehow manage to win, well, now all of a sudden it's like right back where it is again, isn't it?
There's a 1 game in it. Yeah, I mean the challenge with Chelsea are the most unpredictable team in the league, right? Because in theory, on paper, they've got a decent squad. They've got some big international players, World Cup winners, blah, 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 blah. But they're awful at the minute. They're literally awful. I was hoping they keep Rossini for another game. I think we can beat Newcastle at home. Don't think we'll get anything against United away. And I think we'll beat Bournemouth at home. So I'd be sad if Forest don't get anything less than 6 points out of those last 4 games.
I think our opinions of these teams and players are higher than what they actually are in reality.
Right. But if you take Forest haven't lost in 8 games now.
I said to you, I text you today, the City ground is a horrible place to go and play a game and get something. Liverpool always struggle there. Teams will go there and struggle. Even if they win 1-0, it's a horrible 1-0. Like, so, it wouldn't surprise me if I don't think I think it comes down to the bottom 2 there, West Ham and Spurs.
Yeah.
And
Newcastle are a lot worse than they're awful. Newcastle at the minute, they're awful. So and they've got nothing to play for. I think Forest can get something at Chelsea on Monday, and I think they can win at Newcastle. And if they get 4 points out of those 2 games, I think Forest will be safe.
I agree. I honestly think if Spurs get 4 points, West Ham need to win a game.
Yeah.
West Ham needs to get him. And he's right as well. SAS is right. I don't know if he's just playing to heavy Kevia because, with the New Zealand connection. But he's right.
What's been interesting, Forest did it against Sunderland. They did it again tonight against Aston Villa in the Europa. They're playing with 2 strikers. They're playing with Chris Wood and Jesus. That's the first time all season, or the long time, we hope, in a long time that Forest have played, or any team seems to play with 2 strikers anymore, right? It just doesn't happen anymore. So it was interesting because maybe it's a way that Forest played against Sunderland that Sunderland just weren't expecting it. They're expecting either Wood as a target man with 2 wide players, but Forest didn't do that. They went with 2 strikers and a winger that kind of shifted depending on what side the game was on. And teams just weren't prepared for it. So it's exciting. There's going to be a lot of action this weekend. We'll talk about the fixtures coming up in a bit, but it starts tomorrow night, doesn't it? Ellen Road. Leeds versus Burnley. Like you say, I think if Leeds win that, I think they're safe by them.
Yeah,
I can't see Spurs getting to 42. I just can't.
No, I can't disagree with you. But so we talk about the champ though, because we're talking about all these teams going down, mate. But who's coming up? I mean, obviously, finally got Cov back in.
It's epic. Yeah, what's great is I was actually at the last Premier League game when Coventry got relegated many years ago. I was at Villa Park. My best friend's a Villa fan. We were at Villa Park, and Merson was playing. It was cracking days football and whatnot. And the Villa fans were singing, "We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day." It was a beautiful day. And you think at the time, you think, "Oh, Cov are going to get relegated," but they'll bounce back. They'll come back. If you think of everything Coventry and their fans have been over the last 20 odd years, getting relegated, losing the ground, not knowing where they're going to play.
At one point, didn't they?
Yeah, they were just playing in rental games. They were renting out, sharing with the Wasps rugby league, rugby union team.
Yeah,
they were all over the place. They had no identity, but the fans stuck with them and they followed them where they went. They've always had a great support, Cov have, and it's really nice to see him back in the Premier League. I hope, and we'll get into a little bit more now with Frank and everything, but I hope they can find some stability, because coming up it's hard. Staying in the Premier League is a lot harder. Like, look at the teams that came up last year. Burnley, straight back down. No, not really much of a fight in it as well. And you just hope that Coventry, with the history they've got, can stay in the league and do something, a bit of stability.
Yeah, no, I do think so as well. And on that with Frank, like, if you're him, do you stay?
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because
he's going to be in demand with the amount of clubs that are looking for managers or going to be looking for managers. Do you think he stays? Like, is it the right move for him to stay?
I think he should, to start with initially. They're going to have a bit of money, aren't they? Doesn't matter who comes up. Where you could be a somebody or a nobody. You're going to have money to spend. The challenge is, with all the the PSR rules and everything, is look at the teams over the last couple of years that have got promoted, had to spend money, big money, get in trouble for spending money, but ultimately they've stayed in the league. And I'd put Forest in that bracket, because, Marinakis is as crazy as he is. He spent hundreds of millions of dollars to stabilize that team. That team that got promoted for Forest, there's one player left now from that tie, which is Ryan Yates. And he's although he's the club captain, he doesn't get a game. Doesn't get a sniff, because the level is that different. Look at the Cov players that are coming up. Talk about the manager, but talk about the players. Out of those Coventry City players that are coming up to the Premier League, how many of them are capable of playing in the Premier League at that level?
And here's the question as well that you go, like, the answer is we're not sure, are we? But we're never going to know, because there are players that step up. Like, think about players that stepped up when Leicester came up, and there's players around, like Mark Albrighton went down, didn't he? And he was at Villa, but he went down to Leicester and came up and won the league with them. Look at players like Hadji Wright, the forward, Ellis Sims, who was at Everton, was released from Everton, started again at Coventry when they were in League One. Are they going to get snapped up, or are they going to be able to are they going to give it a go with Coventry? Because you're right. I mean, look at Sunderland. How much money have Sunderland spent this year?
Yeah, we talked about that before. They dropped a lot of coin and spent a bit of money, but nobody saw Sunderland doing what they did, right? Nobody saw that. But then, longevity wise, is it sustainable? I've been saying for years that longevity wise, you Brightons, maybe not Brighton, well, your Bournemouths and your Brentfords are not going to be able to stay in the Premier League longevity-wise unless they have some crazy recruitment system that keeps them going and, a good coach and everything. But with in terms of Coventry, they've got the players, they've got the manager. Is it going to be good enough? But then you got those. If you're Frank and those players have got you up, you want to reward them, right, by giving the opportunity to play in the Premier League. Or would you come in and say, look, yous aren't good enough, we're going to have to go and spend 100 million and literally replace the whole side, which then you're starting again for morale, for identity. Is it going to work? Is it not going to work? It's a challenge. It really is a challenge. But the exciting thing, Gary, and this is just, I can love it. Saturday morning for us, for our tea and toast, it's mental, because who's going to join Coventry? And what I love about this weekend, it's the last round of fixtures for the Championship. They all kick off at 12:30 UK time. And there's 4 teams that can get automatic. And then I think there's 3 teams that are competing for that 6th spot to get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's mental. I can't wait.
You've got Derby, Hull, and Wrexham competing for that last spot. And then you've got the top end. You've got Ipswich, Borough, Middlesbrough, and Millwall. And Ipswich opened the door because they drew the other day at Southampton. So three teams, any one of three teams can go up and one of three teams can get in the playoff. Southampton are pretty much guaranteed playoffs now. Well, they are guaranteed playoffs, but it's Derby, Hull, or Wrexham. And I know how you feel about Wrexham, but we're not going to go into that because we are a neutral podcast, Chris.
Yes,
and we're not going to wind people up too much.
Yes. You know what's interesting? The stat I shared with you, I think last week, or I might have shared it with Bob actually. January this year, Leicester were above Southampton in the league.
It's unbelievable.
They've been on the most unbelievable run, and they almost, guaranteed. They almost got into the automatic promotion spots.
They almost got to the FA Cup final.
Yeah. So the run they've been on, again, you talk about momentum, all about, encouragement, excitement, all the juices that you need to get going. They're on an incredible run right now. I can't wait for Saturday morning, mate. I really can't. I'm going to get my tea and toast. I'm going to plant down. I'll have the laptop. I'll have the phone. I'll have the TV on at the same time. And it's just going to be games to games to games.
It's funny as well. Ipswich play QPR at home.
I just want to bring this up. Just wanted to quickly bring this up. Have you seen the kit Coventry are going to wear on Saturday?
Is it
it's the brown one. They've got a replica of the brown kit from the 80s, and they're wearing it Saturday for the final game of the season. They're going to be away at They're going to be away at Watford. I saw something for it earlier. I should have clipped it up. But yeah, check out Coventry away at Watford this Saturday. They're going to be in that. Oh, sorry. They're going to be in that juicy little kit.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. Listen, it's good to go with the players and try and stay loyal, but I think ultimately you've got to try and win, haven't you? You've got to try and win, and at what point, like everyone talks about this, at what point does your style and substance go out the window when you just need to win? Like it takes a brave manager to stick to it and take your lumps and your kicks and then carry on going.
Yeah, because something I compare that to is when Steve Cooper got Forest up. Obviously, Forest hadn't been in the Premier League for a long time. Steve Cooper, you know him well from Liverpool and whatnot, was at one point considered the future of British coaching. He'd been linked to the Wales job and potentially the England job. Forest got promoted by playing Jed Spence and Brennan Johnson on the right-hand side, and no team in the league could cope with them. They had nothing down the left-hand side. It was all one-sided, and up front they had a guy called Kelvin Davis who scored a boatload of goals, and in the middle of the park you had Ryan Yates and James Gardner from Everton. And they nobody could cope with down the right-hand side. Forest get promoted, and Cooper's tactic was, well, let's just do this in the Premier League. And it didn't work, and Forest got found out pretty quick. And they had to adjust from that, going to Johnson on the whole time on the right-hand side, you have to balance it out a little bit. And ultimately, Cooper couldn't adapt. He didn't know how to bring all these extra players that are coming in, and it cost him his job. And, he then started going down the pecking order for clubs and kind of disappeared off the radar a little bit.
Yeah,
now.
it's true.
Couple of years ago is something.
Here's one for you. Middlesbrough have got Wrexham away on Saturday. So I'm telling you, mate, it's tasty. There's going to be all sorts going on, isn't there? Like these all games playing at the same time. There's going to be little twists in it. Like people are going to be coming out a little bit later.
Come on, the Borough.
Yeah, you never know, do
you?
I would love to see Millwall go up. Just throw an absolute grenade into the Premier League. Millwall.
The one thing I love, Gary, I love to see teams that have never been there before. Since the Premier League started, we've seen lots of those teams in the Premier League, the teams going into the top flight. You can remember when Barnsley got up. Go back to when Wigan were playing in the Premier League not that long ago. Reading, it doesn't seem like a million years ago, Reading were in the Premier League up there and stuff. So it's nice to see a team that has not been in the top flight for a long time make it to the promised land, whether they stay a year, whether they stay 2 years or whatever it is. That is the beautiful thing about, I say, the European system, the world system of the promotion and the relegation things, because now we've got a scenario on Saturday where you've got several teams that have got something to play for, to fight for something to play for, that could potentially have a life-changing experience. Because as fans, you see it as a lot of championship teams or lower league teams, they make it up to the Premier League and they don't honestly care if they live there or stay there. They want the ability to go to Old Trafford, to go to Anfield, to go to the Emirates and experience these stadiums and these, next level things. Because if it's one and done, maybe, but it's an ultimate amazing day out for fans to go to these super stadiums. Hopefully, they won't be going to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium next season, but that's another thing.
Yeah, exactly. I imagine Luton fans were very grateful for their year in the Prem, even though they've just gone down since they came, since they left.
100%. It's what the Championship's a lonely place.
So, where do we want to go with this? Do we want to talk about free agents, or do we want to talk about Chris Sutton slagging Arsenal off?
I look at the free agents first, because that's kind of linked into these teams, right? Because a lot of teams coming up, money there's potentially money to get and everything, but with PSR rules, you've got to be real smart with free agents and, bouncing the books and all that kind of side of things. So I pulled up some of the players that are available on free transfers in the summer. Canate at Liverpool. Bernardo Silva's probably going to go back to Spain or back to somewhere in Europe. John Stones, where's he going to go? Where does John Stones? He's going to be at the World Cup with England, right? He's still an elite player. Where's he going to go? Harry Maguire, I think, signed his contract now at United. Andy Robertson, still not come out of where he's officially going, although he's been heavily linked with Tottenham. Bissouma, he's had a contract in the summer at Spurs. How they go down. Bissouma? I don't know.
Liverpool wanted him when he was at Fulham.
My notes don't say that. Nick Pope, goalkeeper. Teams are coming up are always looking for a vastly experienced keeper. Fantastic keeper on his day. Kieran Trippier is another one. Where's Trippier going to go? Senesi at Bournemouth. One of your old boys, Harry Wilson, strongly linked with the Villa, I think, at the minute. Villa look favourites to pick him up. Here's a striker that would grace any team, Raul Jimenez. He's got goals in him.
It's interesting to see who comes up as well, though, right? Because look, if Millwall come up, who's going to want to sign there? I think like John Stones, if Borough did come up, you could see John Stones going to Borough. You could see Trippier could go back to Burnley if Burnley have gone down, because that's pretty much where he started.
That's a soft subject. That's a soft one.
He's going somewhere else, mate. He'll go somewhere, Europe or something like that. Let him. He's welcome
MLS,
to go wherever he
MLS,
wants.
you think he'll go to the MLS? I don't think that's his bag. I don't think that's his family and scene.
I don't think his. Yeah, he's
maybe Saudi because he's deeply religious guy. Maybe Saudi would be good for him. It's closer to home, wherever home is now. I don't know, but technically speaking, you've got. I mean, I've just listed a load of international players. That experience is so key coming up for the Championship. You've got to get players that understand the league, how to deal with it. Also, experienced player like John Stones, he could go in there and nurture an 18, 19, 20-year-old from a Coventry to develop them. Could be a good signing for Coventry. Yeah. Could work with Frank and whatnot.
If Lampard's still there, I'm sure he could flex his muscles a little bit and get people in who could help them for a season. And just steady the ship for a season. Imagine Stones and Trippier at Cov. It would give them a little bit of a boost, especially if you got a younger right back and a younger centre back around them who you can help out and jump in every now and again. But you never know. There's a lot out there. I think Harry Wilson would be great at Everton.
Everton. I know Villa. We've been linked with Villa pretty heavily.
Everton probably need a winger. They need a forward as well. I mean, Everton could go for Jimenez, but I also think the lad at Chelsea. But the problem is with Chelsea players, they're tied into these ridiculous contracts now. So there's what's the lad? Delap at Chelsea for Everton or someone else. But again, is it going to happen? Who knows?
I like the guy. I'm not going to mention his name, but he's on one of our competitive shows, podcast shows, is where they get all the different fans from the different teams. Mm-hmm. He's the Chelsea representative, and he's stated that he's the worst player he has seen in his lifetime at Chelsea. Is Delap.
Wow, interesting. There's been some stinkers at Chelsea over the years.
There's been a lot of stinkers at Chelsea over the years, but
I don't recognise half of that squad now they come in on this big money and these crazy contracts and nobody knows if they're playing or not and whoever they are.
Yeah, well, that's my take on Chelsea. Chelsea always, even go back to the 80s, Kerry Dixon and those kind of guys, Pat Nevin when he was there, they had almost like an identity around them. They always had an established player going through to the 90s teams under Hoddle, Vialli and Hullett. They don't have any identity now. I don't think Chelsea have any identity.
Yeah, let's just get all the best players ever.
bring it back, right?
Let's get them all on. Yeah, let's get them all in. Yeah, yeah.
Get the checkbook out. Get the checkbook out. Get the checkbook out.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even biting on the Liverpool stuff because we'll be here all night talking about that, and that's a different show. You know, you can go to American Scouser if you want to. If you want to tune into the Liverpool stuff, they've got a show. You can chat. You can fire into that. They'll chew your ear off about who Liverpool should be picking up. But
no, I mention it all the time. It's this time of the year. It's like Christmas for me. It's the most exciting time of football because you've got Premier League. You've got people pushing for Europe, going for the. We're not even talked about Arsenal City in that race. Relegation's going to the back, but the Championship at the minute, it's going to be the most exciting weekend in the Championship. We should have a competition, though. How many times does the top 6 change the order on Saturday?
Yeah, that's a good question as well. Before I do this, though, I am going to have to do a runner. I'm going to have to put you in the thingy.
All right.
I've got to leg it. But
is it the dog?
It is the dog. The dog's having a moment.
So, all right, you go sort the dog up, and I'll quickly mention again. I'll bring it up while Gary goes and look after the dog. It's all right, Gary. We've got plenty of time. We've got plenty of time. If you've not done so already, Gary and Chris's proper dead hard Thursday trivia question. Again, this is a new one. It's going to be in 5 different. I can't remember my math now. Different parts. So we are asking for. Where's he put it on here? We are asking for. Here we go. Name the highest EPL goal scorers for every age bracket. So every age bracket, we're going to start from 17 to 21. So which 17-year-old scored 6 goals? Which 18-year-old scored 18 goals? Which 19-year-old scored 18 goals? 20-year-old scored 25 goals, and 21-year-old scored 25 goals. You can drop them in the comments here. After the show's done, we're going to put this onto Instagram, and then you can clip it, put your comments in the DMs, and we'll push it forward from there. Next week, we'll announce these answers, but then also bring you the next round of questions as well. Next styles of questions as well going into next round. All right, let's talk about the games this weekend. Whilst Gary's dipped out, we'll talk about the upcoming games. As mentioned before, Friday night, we've got Leeds versus Burnley. On Saturday, Brentford versus West Ham, Newcastle Brighton, Wolves Sunderland, Arsenal Fulham. That could be a tricky one, Gary. He's back now. Sunday,
kid, telling you.
You got Bournemouth Palace. The big one, United versus Liverpool. And then Villa versus Spurs, which is a massive game as well. Some big games this weekend. Are you going to be able to watch them all? Are you?
I'm going to try and make the effort for Sunday for the game at Old Trafford. I'm going to try and get out and watch that. And then Spurs is later in the day, and it's a strange time, this one. Because it's a bank holiday weekend at home, isn't it? So there's 2 games on Monday.
Have you got the our locks and did I send you that clip? You clip it up, or you just want to go through it? Did you actually get the banner?
Did I get the banner? I haven't got the banner just yet, mate.
He's not putting it up. All right. Well, you talk. I'll bring it up quickly as we go about it. So, Gary, this weekend, who's your shock of the week?
Shock of the week. I went with. I don't know if it's just a shock. I don't know if it's a shock. I went with West Ham.
West Ham to beat Brentford.
Yeah.
All right. I went with.
Is that a shock? It should be a shock, shouldn't it? Brentford are flying.
Yeah, I mean, Brentford's still pushing for Europe. They've still got a chance to get for Europe and whatnot. But yeah, well, hey, West Ham winning away from home is probably a shock, right, to West Ham fans. So that's probably a bit of a shock as well. I went with Tottenham. I went with Spurs because I thought, I know the player thing could be an issue as well, but it felt like they had a bit of energy last week. I didn't watch the full game. I watched the extended highlights. It felt like I had a bit of energy. I know Simons is their kind of catalyst and your driving force, and he's done for the season now. But I thought with, Villa with one eye on Europe and just maybe could he a little bit tired from a Thursday night game, going and thinking of next Thursday night's game now, especially now they've, gone a goal behind and they've got to put more effort into that. I think Spurs could sneak something on Sunday. I really do. I'm not even going to ask you for your lock a week because it's the same every week with you. Gary's gone for Leeds again. Can you explain why you think Leeds are going to beat Burnley?
Because they're at home, it's a Friday night, and Leeds on a Friday night is rowdy anyway, so I just think they're going to give them a bit. Ellen Road's mental on a Friday night.
Yeah, under the lights and stuff. I was talking to Bob last week. I remember I told him a story years ago when I went to Forest versus Leeds, 93, I thought. Was Collymore hit the bar from like 30 yards. I was in the family stand, and I hit the crossbar, and it went over, and I just went up like that, and the next thing you know, punch come. I was like 12 or something like that. But I've been up there a few times. It's always a bit of fun as well. I actually went for Arsenal as my lock. I think sooner than later, they've got to win a league game, right? Sooner than later, they've got to win a league game. They've
Yeah.
got Fulham at home. Fulham don't really have much to go for anymore. Fantastic result for Arsenal midweek in Madrid in the Champions League, which they should have won that game. You know, some bad refereeing decisions and stuff.
Yeah, in fairness,
but I think they'll win. I do. I think they'll win on that one.
Interestingly enough, Arsenal play at 12:30 on Saturday. City don't play until it's an 8:00 kickoff on Monday night at Everton.
It's daft, isn't it? It's
so
daft.
Like you want to, and City now have got a massive fixture pile up. They play, I think they play 5 games in a very, very short space of time.
But Arsenal do too because of the Champions League. Arsenal have got a pretty stacked up, not as bad as City's because City got the FA Cup. Yeah,
so City go Monday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Sunday. So it's like game. But again, Arsenal, same thing, right? I mean, if they got one eye, see if they win Saturday. They've got to win, haven't they? Like you said, they've got to win a league game. So this has got to be a game that they win.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because they've now gone. Just pull up the things now. Well, game of the week. You went for the Spurs versus.
I think it's going to be.
It's difficult for Villa now because Villa they pretty much guarantee Champions League football next year, regardless of winning the Europa or anything like that. I think they're going to finish top 5. I think there's no way that they can slip up now. I mean, 8 points ahead of Brighton. I think they're guaranteed to finish top 5. So, but Spurs are going to be fighting, and again, from a fan's perspective, those Villa fans will be loving Tottenham suffering at the weekend. They'll be loving the position they're in, and like I said just before, there's nothing better. Doesn't matter who you support. If you're supporting a team that relegates another team or causes any kind of misery to supporters, you love it as a fan, don't you? It sounds awful, but you do.
And Villa have got an all right record, even in between these European games. So they're going to want to get a bit of momentum. They've got to get a bit of momentum after today because, again, City ground's a tough place to play. So for them to go after them, I think it'll make it a bit the end-to-end game on Saturday. It just depends what Tottenham team's going to be able to turn up.
Take your boots down there. I know Tim Sherwood's been trying to get the Tottenham job for the last 6 months. Maybe he'll get a game now. Maybe you can finally get down there and graft and get in there. Lemon.
Yeah.
I don't think people forget when he was the manager last time how atrocious he was. He was awful, and he goes on about why I gave Harry Kane his debut. No, get over yourself. Get over yourself. One of the worst after I think Frank de Boer or Ronald de Boer, whoever that was, went to Palace. Maybe Kev can answer me that. Who lost? Was it de Boer lost 7 or 8 games on the bounce or something like that?
Yeah,
Palace all those years ago. Tim Sherwood was awful. We'll get him on the show, Tim. Get him on the show. I've gone for United Liverpool. I still think it's the biggest fixture in the Premier League. Doesn't matter who's top of the league or any of that kind of thing. Just the history and whatnot. Although those teams have probably both sewn up top 5. I think United are pretty much there or they're done. I think they need 1 more point, I think it is, to guarantee top 5. I just think it's pride, it's egos, all that kind of side of things.
And I think there's a cracking. I don't know if anyone's seen this. I'd love to post this in the link somewhere on our socials. There's a cracking YouTube documentary about the Liverpool Man United rivalry and what it is, and the music and the fashion, and they're actually quite similar. Like Man United fans and Liverpool fans are quite similar and realistically, but it's obviously there's a lot of stuff in the background. And there's a really cool clip. There's a really cool video on YouTube. I send it to everyone every year when this game comes around. But
like people don't fathom it. It's hard for people to fathom in the United States. Me being born in Manchester, you grow up there and it's like the distance is nothing. It's literally nothing. I for me to go to work every day, it's longer than driving from Manchester to Liverpool every day. And Americans will look at it and say, well, is it like driving from like Los Angeles to San Francisco? And it's like, no, but in theory, there's just so much similarities between the cities. It's always been rivalries between the music, the clothes, the fashion, the trends, the everything and stuff. So it's like, it doesn't matter where they are in the league. When Liverpool weren't winning anything, when United weren't winning anything, it's still the biggest game on the football calendar. Sky Sports will look out for that game before they look out for anything else because they want to show it live on prime time.
Yeah.
Football, whatnot.
And I think the reality of this as well, and this is how crazy this season's been for Liverpool. If you were to offer this to a Liverpool fan in the beginning of January where we were struggling all the time, and they said, listen, in the beginning of May, you're going to be playing Man United with a chance to finish third, to go third in the league after everything that's happened this season, they'd snatch their hand off. Because there's clips from earlier in the year, Liverpool weren't even in the top 10 in mid-season, and they've clawed the way back up. All right, other teams have faltered, but that's what the league has been like this season. So the fact that Liverpool have got the opportunity to finish third in the league is unheard of.
So let me ask you this. I'll pause it so we can clip it. If you take a point of this season when Amorim was at United and Liverpool was struggling, both those teams were, especially United, were in the bottom half of the league. Do you think that's a credit to Carrick and Slot for getting those teams up there? Or do you think it's kind of a representation of how inconsistent the middle part of the Premier League has been this year?
I think it leans more towards the inconsistencies within the Premier League. I don't think that Arne Slot, and I don't think he's going to get sacked. I'm going to be honest. No. I know people won't want to hear that, but I have pretty decent intel to suggest that he's not going to get sacked. Yeah.
Is that a hand over the moment?
Sorry, comment?
Yeah.
Like, I just don't think he's going to get sacked yet. Listen, nothing would surprise me in football, but given everything that's happened this season and given the way that FSG work, I don't think he goes anywhere. But I think it's a little bit about, like, Liverpool and Man United have got good players, so good players will win games sometimes without the manager. I think Carrick's done a fantastic job of sort of galvanising that team. I think Liverpool have been able to get away with the fact that some of the teams around them have underperformed. Chelsea, a better Chelsea team, Liverpool are nowhere to be seen. A more consistent Chelsea team, same thing. Villa, more consistent. I think Man United deserve to be there on merit. I think Liverpool have kind of got lucky in a couple of situations. I'm waiting for any fire that is going to come my way after saying that.
No, it's true. And you look at, like, United have been through a rebuilding period over the last couple of years. Look at the front three this year. They weren't at the club last year. Mainu have been dipped out the team and whatnot. Rebuilding players. They've got a wonderful player, that Heaven from Arsenal, that's come in. The goalkeeper's new that's come in. Liverpool, for me, are now, okay, they spent a lot of money last summer, but they're still going through a transitional period of what's next. Salah's come to the end of his Liverpool career, it seems. How many years has Van Dijk got left in him to play at that level? The goalkeeper's pretty much, coming to the end of his time at the club as well. Andy Robertson is coming to the end of his Liverpool career as well. So it's a big, big time for Liverpool as they rebuild to go into the future. And is Slot the guy to do that? And like you say, Liverpool this year have lost 10 games. If you look at the last 10 years in the Premier League, you lose 10 games, you can easily finish top 6. So it's nothing crazy. United have lost 7 games this season. There's been teams that won the Premier League that have lost 7 games. So I think both those teams have had a tremendous surge to the second half of the season. But look at the teams that have dropped off. Newcastle were kind of doing all right to start with. They've kind of fallen by the wayside. Everton were up there at one point. Sunderland were up there at one point. Chelsea, for the majority of the season under Maresca, were a top 6 time, and now they're on the downslide now. It's great.
Yeah, no, it'd be interesting. You're right, though. It's the season's been interesting, and it's what makes me laugh more than anything. I'm getting this in, getting me digs in. Like when Liverpool win the league last year, it's because the league was shit, and in 2020 it was because the league was crap and COVID. But like you said, this season, they're not exactly ripping it up, are they? The league this year, no. So it's it just stands to the way it is. Like Arsenal got 73 points. Liverpool lost 2 leagues, came second with 93 and 97. So, the max amount Arsenal can get is 85, which is still a decent number, but not that good. Like it's not. It's okay to sort of say.
But you know what, Gary? You and I have seen a lot of leagues where it's always been 2-3 horse races. It's nice that it's more balanced now, and that teams, it's nice that if a team wins the league and they've got 80 odd points, it shows that it's a lot harder than it has been in previous. You know, that year when City got 100 points, Liverpool got 90 odd points and stuff, it felt like there was such a gap between those games and some of the teams you're playing. But now, the reason why I think this season has been one of the most exciting seasons in a long time is anybody can beat anybody again. And I don't think we've seen that for a long time, where any team could beat anybody. Top could beat bottom and vice versa and stuff. And it puts a little bit more excitement into for the neutral fan that's watching these games.
Yeah, and you only have to look at even the season now with 4 games left. There's 4 points separate 12 and 6. So there's 7 teams there that could get into Europe. So that there's still a lot to play for. And you could even argue some of the other teams might sneak in. I mean, based on Palace's performance today, you would hope they give themselves a really good chance of winning that Conference League. And then you would hope that one of the 2 teams out of that semi-final from today.
And again, that's what's really exciting about this year is you've got all these teams that have got something still to play for. You know, normally in the past, there's been 6-7 games to go. Teams are showing out the new shirts, people looking at the vacations, that kind of stuff. You got all these games with teams that have got something to play for. Then you've got the World Cup this summer. So you've got players that are trying to push to get, you know, last ditch efforts to get on those planes.
Especially when people are getting injured as well around it.
You know, Ekatike was nailed on. Now he's not going. So who does that open up to? Simons was nailed on to go on the plane. So
it's it could be the World Cup year effect because players do play it. I mean, I'm surprised. You've got the lads who are out of contract as well. I mean, Konate's doing a horrendous job of putting himself in the shop window for being out of contract, personally speaking. But I mean,
he's going to get snapped up.
He will be, he will because he's got somewhat of a name, hasn't he? But he's, you know, I'm not going to be stopping him from leaving town. But yeah, I mean, there's so much still to play for, which makes this all the more interesting, mate. And this is why we're going to be watching this weekend.
Let's wrap it up because we've got a little bit of extra time. Did I miss anything, Gary? Am I going to? I think we're pretty much there or thereabouts.
Yeah, pretty much, give or take. We've got a couple of things, but we can definitely pick them up as we get through.
All right, well, let's do it one last time. It's the proper Gary and Chris's proper Dead Hard Thursday trivia question. And again, name the highest scoring EPL goal scorers for every age bracket. I'm looking for a 17-year-old that scored 6 goals. 18-year-old, 18 goals, a 19-year-old, 18 goals, 20, 25, 21, 25. We will announce the winners or whoever got it right or the correct answers on next week's show. Then we'll give you the next 5 age groups. So 22, 23, etc., etc. So what we're going to do after this show is done, we're going to post this onto our Instagram. Right, Gary? And then in the comments, put who you think the answers to these ones are as well. And we can go forward. If you've not done so, I know it's like a Premier League game now. We've got 20 minutes extra time, but we're all good to go. We'll keep going. One last little thing from me. Do you want to put it up, Gary? Because I know you've got the banner there.
Hang on. I love this. You
don't get the coat hanger. You don't get the coat hanger. We're giving away EPL across the pond. Gary and Chris are giving away a World Cup shirt of your choice. A World Cup shirt and size of your choice. If you are small, medium, large, extra, I don't know what they go up to now, but whatever your shirt size is, whatever World Cup team you want, that means you can't go for Italy, whatever World Cup team you want to go for, we're going to give one lucky winner the chance to win a shirt. The competition is going to end on May the 13th. If you've not done so already, go to our YouTube page. It's EPL Across the Pond. The link's in the bio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is free. It is free to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All you have to do is subscribe and then take a screenshot and drop us in our DMs on Instagram and we'll add you to the competition. You can win a World Cup shirt of your choice.
Perfect. That sounds about right. So, okay, before we wrap up, as again, like and subscribe, Chris. That's been great. Thanks very much to everyone who's tuned in tonight and contributed in the comments. That's been brilliant. As of always, if you get a chance, go to nummerzane.com or the Instagram at nzane10 for any of the from a little bit of a word from our sponsors there, Chris.
Oh, and if you'd like to sponsor the show, you'd like to sponsor Gary or myself, reach out to EPL Across the Pond.
Yeah, we've got the ticker at the bottom and the logo at the top. Like that. We've got the ticker at the bottom and the logo at the top. Go
check it out. Something a little bit different, something a little bit rock and roll. If you're looking for something a little bit cool this summer that just doesn't go away from, a little bit of funky thing where someone's going to say to you, where'd you get that shirt from? And that's the coolest thing when you're wearing something a little bit different. Where'd you get that from, Numazain?
They are very comfortable shirts as well. I will say that they are very
I
comfortable.
remember, I won't go into the week you wore the Zidane one.
The Zidane one now looks
that
like
that looked too comfortable. That looked too comfortable.
It looked too very comfortable. Yeah, it's almost like an Under Armour, that one. But well, let's just leave it there. But again, thanks very much for tuning in. Like and subscribe if you can, and we will see you next week. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the footy.
Thanks, guys.